church, but God placed you there for a reason. And the Bible also says that for whatever your hands finds doing, do it well. Do it well. Do it well. Do it well. Do it well, because that thing can sell you to the nations of the world. How many of you agree with me?
Amen.
That thing can sell you to the nations of the world. So if there is a need for you, to go for rehearsals on Saturday, make sure that you rehearse with the choir for them to be able to get the best of sound, for them to be able to deliver on Sunday. Make it a part of your plan. Make sure that you are there. Discover purpose in that field. Because as you discover it, I'm telling you, the nations of the world will hear of you. Amen. Hallelujah. I know that some of you are doing sound engineering as a part-time something. When the church needs you, you go. When other people need you, you go. But some of you are seated here. When you dedicate your time, energy, to that thing, I can assure you that give yourself some time. God will move you into it full time. Amen. God, and you see, when you discover purpose around this thing, one of the things, and sometimes some of you look at some of these things, hey, these things are very expensive. How can I even afford some of these things? But I can assure you that if you give yourself time and you dedicate your energy to some of these things, I can tell you that you can get to a place where somebody can just look at you, discover your craft, and even sponsor you. That, oh, this guy is good, can even give you $1 million. Let's go to China, buy you musical equipment and stuff like that. And by the time you realize, you are all over the whole place. Amen. You're all over the whole place. So I want to encourage you, as a pastor, that no matter your pastor is, still work with him. No matter how hard you work with him, that, whatever God has placed in your hands, capitalize on it. Build yourself in that place. Discover purpose. And as you discover that purpose will announce you, to the nations of the world. For instance, Dr. Crack, is one of the best sound engineers. And then within the sound, he has discovered something which he has founded, which is a SoundCheck Experience. And as a result of that discovery, all of us are here. So it means that when you follow your line of purpose, you can also discover something that all nations, will begin to follow you. And today I pray for somebody that in the field of sound engineering, that as we are all gathered here, by the time we are all going back home, God will give us the grace, the ability to be able to discover purpose in this particular field of endeavor. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. All right, so now we are currently live on Facebook, and the link is being shared on the platform. So those of us who are on the platform should please go to the platform and then let us share to our friends, let us share to our families, and then let us share, to most of our friends who are sound engineers. How many of us are on the platform? Okay, so those of us who are not on the platform, the moment we are done with the conference, you can please see Engineer Thomas Chikata. He will take your details and then he's going to add you to the platform. So let's kindly share. Let's kindly share the link. And then before we invite the first speaker, we would want to invite the host back again, which is Dr. Crack. To come and give us a welcome address and then introduction, of the guest speaker for today. All right, so let's please clap for him as he comes. Let's clap for Dr. Crack. Or is that all you can do? Let's honor Grace. Let's honor him. As you are clapping and you are celebrating him, it's the same way one day you will also be celebrated. He's not just here alone. He came with a wife. Let's also celebrate the wife. I'm sure he will celebrate the wife too. Yeah, he's going to introduce the wife.
Hello. All right. Welcome to SoundCheck Experience 2026 Ghana edition. You people are not giving me the same vibe, but I will just be looking at it. Let's just give the vibe. So, let me share the reason behind this sound check of a thing. You know, most of us here, we do our sound from the church before we now go to to the world. Now, one of the major reasons why I decided that, okay, we have to share this knowledge started from my church. Now, and that's because, you see, this gospel of Christ, we need to take it across the world. And you know, it's quite annoying when you realize that from the church we speak of excellence, but at the end of the day, we are not able to give that excellence production. And that's because some factors are affecting it. Either financial capacity of the church, or probably maybe lack of experienced sound engineers. And when even church now trains sound engineers, you know, we like money now. We'll still go outside, run gig on the day that the church has service. So now I started on my own by training a young boy in my church, which is, I think, now 15. And as at then, I think it was probably maybe 12 or 10 or thereabout. And that boy, during the course of that training, he has been the one handling the service in my church. For now, I'm not around, and I've not been around for the past 1 month. And he has been doing, and my church, we do setup. Not like the ones that you have your setup done already, which is one of the reasons why some sound engineers don't even understand the work properly, because the sound is already set up. They just walk in and fire down, plug and play. But in my own case, we have to do the setup. After the service, we'll pack the equipment. And that's how we run it every Saturday and Sunday. So, and because I also want to go and make money, because even Christ will not even allow you to do that. We remember the 10 virgins, where some 5 are very wise and some other ones are foolish. So because I want to go and make money and do well for myself, if I go, there will not be anybody in the church to make sure that the gospel of Christ go to the world. So I had to make sure that I train that boy very well and train a couple of young guys like that. And all these people I'm saying, when I say young guys, they are not even, as at then, they were not even teenagers. They were children. Because the adults, they refuse to come and learn. Maybe they want to do this thing that I don't want to mention. Let's call it fraud. You get, but there are ways to this industry that once you have the knowledge, you even make more. Why sitting in you can even do a consultation alone for church and you already make your money. So that encourages me. Then because the person that brought me into audio production saw me in a church and was like, I like your gain structure. That's the first time I will hear anything about gain structure. Because I started from studio, and you know, when we have been doing things, trial and error, you are getting it, is working. So you too, you will now be making mouth in public and be saying, calling yourself sound engineers. Meanwhile, you have just been doing trial, error. So the man said, come, let me train you. And I was with him for like, let me say 4 years. I forget about, maybe I want to make money or whatever. I stick to him. Every day I resume to his house to learn from him. Even sitting with him on his own, learning is enough. So then he now forced me to go and buy books. So he said, you need to change from doing trial and error. So I now decided, okay, let me buy books. Then I started buying books, reading. While I'm reading, I will go for practical. I will learn. And you know, church is the easiest place for you to learn. You know, all these great men doing sound now, they cannot be doing setup and you expect them to be talking to you. They don't have that time. That's why we feel like some sound engineers are aggressive, because they are making decisions that are very tough on the instant that determines their future. Maybe they are going to get the next gig or not. So that time is not there. They don't have it. So I go back to him. We learn. He has a studio. I will go to his studio. We will learn. That's where I get to meet all these, the biggest artists in Nigeria. So that's where I get to meet all of them by working with them, knowing what they know. And it's because the man sacrificed himself to train me. And I won't lie to you, the man trained me for free. But anytime I'm doing anything that has to do with audio production and I make money like this, I will call him and say, Baba, I beg, just take this one whole body first. So with the fact that he trained me for free, and that now brought me back to doing this SoundCheck Experience for free. You know, when you have great people in the industry share their experience with you, that one is enough, or is enough of fire already for you to go and say, let me go and study, get to meet them, because we hardly see them. Just imagine, let's say a person like Caleb now. On his gig, most of the gig, they are paid gig. You cannot even see him. Even when they are doing the setup, they don't want to even see you near their console. But these people, when you get access to them in a kind of venue like this, which is the opportunity I've gotten, and I spoke with a friend of mine, Thomas Chikata. I spoke with him about this SoundCheck Experience. He also said, and we shared the same idea. He said a lot of people that are running sounds for church, that most of them, not like they have that financial strength to sponsor themselves to school or to go and meet all these big guys in the industry, that some of them just want to help their church to grow. And that's where I now decided that, okay, if that's it, then let's talk to these big guys in the industry, since we know them. So, and that's where SoundCheck Experience started. We did this in Ghana 2024. And I think some of us attended that 2024 on, but it's not like this. And that's because some discussions has been done. So 2025, we started in Nigeria, but I couldn't come to Ghana. Then this one, and I decided, okay, you see this time, we take this audio production, this training, this knowledge, we take it around the world. That's why we started in Nigeria. We have the best audio engineer in Nigeria to come share their experience with people. Now we are here in Ghana for also the best in Ghana to come and share their experience with you. It's not, I can tell you, speaking with all these men, they can decide that they are busy, and they don't have time, and they will now leave it to us. Now, how do I share my experience with a lot of you? One person experience doesn't go far. But when you have people that have done different gigs, from small to the biggest concerts, when they have a lot to share, and that a lot to share, we will gain from it. And I can tell you, someone can build an audio professional career from this particular event if you are smart enough. I said the other time, I said, ask questions. Once you ask these people questions, they will talk. Because the knowledge is there. So they want to release it. It's just like the way you go to your church and the pastor, maybe he has prayed for 100 days and the man is fired up. He wants to release the best thing. It's the same way these people, they have the knowledge. If we don't ask them questions, they will not release. They are not, some of them are not pastors. They are professionals. So, but the knowledge is there. The moment you ask, they will speak. That's where we go by the ask, and it shall be given unto you. Seek, you will find. So we already seek, and you already knock. The door is open. It's just for you, when you see them, ask them questions so that we can take something home that we can build on, that will help us to be able to help the gospel of Christ to move forward. This is my submission, and this is why we are all here today, to share knowledge, meet with. We are not saying because, they will come and talk or something. Some of us here might even have experience more than they do. But there's something that they know that is different to what we know. So they will be sharing with us, and we meet ourselves. That's why we were trying to meet each other the last time, so that we know who we are one after the other. Then we can know, okay, after this gig, if I'm unable to meet Kakraba or Caleb or Thomas Chikata, we know who and who among us that we can say, Baba, I beg, they come to your church, I want to come and learn one or two things, so that we also build friendship. Thank you very much for joining this SoundCheck Experience. And would I say, trust me, it's going to be a wonderful time. Thank you.
Okay, so now we want to enter into the first section, and then our first speaker is ready,
Yes. Yes.
and then our first speaker is going to be talking about the importance of quality gadget, the importance or the reason why we need, quality gadget, why we have to purchase the best, of the best of gadgets that will give us the enablement to be able to, produce and have a quality production. And then, without much ado, I want us to welcome Mr. Julius from Suit Music. Let's clap, let's celebrate him, as he comes.
1, 2. Okay. Good afternoon. So as already mentioned, my name is Julius Daglama. I'm with Sweet Music. I've been with Sweet Music for a while now. To delve straight into the topic, we are looking at system design versus system purchase, buying with engineering intent. So we are looking at purchasing not because you know of the product, but you will look at some principles to consider when buying. So I want to look at the two. So system purchase and then system design. So usually for system purchases, usually involves very simple setups, and you don't really need an expert when it comes to system purchase. So for a simple event, for a simple space, so let's say if we take our showroom, for example, that's a simple space. And a system purchase scenario will work for that. So a system like what we are seeing here, when you walk into a dealer's shop to buy, system purchase like this will work for the place. So usually system purchases will already have the various components already worked out for you. So your tops, your subs, sometimes there could be microphones, there could be a mixer already added. Then we move to a system design. So that aspect is usually handled by experts. So with that one, you are looking at, are you okay? Or I'm running too much? So with system design, you're looking at designing a system to suit particular space or an event. So then the various components are necessarily not from one brand. So you may choose your arrays from one brand. Then you decide that because of what this brand of amplifiers will give you, you use that brand of amplifiers on the speakers. You could also decide that you are going for a different brand of subwoofers. So it's more like a tailored solution as compared to the system purchase. So moving on from there, we want to look at how to buy as engineers. So basically, can anyone tell me as an engineer what you look out for when you want to buy? Anyone to share? I've seen somebody, I want to mention his name, but anyone to share? Okay, please, can you get a microphone to him so that he helps? Please, if you've not introduced yourself already, you can introduce yourself.
Okay, as I said before, I'm Jerry.
Okay.
Basically, recommendations from people that have used it before.
Okay.
And so the pros and cons that they say versus what I need. Okay. If it fits, then probably purchase it.
Okay, thank you. Any other person?
Okay, my name is Emmanuel.
Okay.
So, from my point of view, I think the first thing to look out for is the quality.
Okay.
Because if you just buy anything, maybe the way you want it to sound, you will not get it that way.
Okay.
So that's my point of view.
Okay. Thank you. So from what the first man said, reviews and ratings. So sometimes you already know of someone who has the system. You could get close to the person and ask how it has performed for some time. You could also go online, get reviews, read on specifications and all that. So we could also look out physically testing the equipment. So sometimes for a console or a speaker, you can walk into a dealer shop and look at listening to a particular speaker. Before you do that, you've already checked for the specifications. You know the frequency response, sometimes the SPL and all that. Then you are doing that to inform your decision. So you could do that for a number of brands if it's possible. And then you can conclude on what you want. You could also look at you check the build quality. So for, the building, the material they used in constructing the equipment. So for speakers, you could look at ABS. ABS is simply plastic. You could also look at wood. The wood usually for the subwoofers, there's the birch plywood. There's a reason why they use the birch plywood. So you check all that build quality physically. That will also help in informing your decision. Then the user interface also. So usually this one you can consider this when it comes to consoles. How intuitive, how easy it is for you to use the console. So with this also, you could also look at renting. There are people who rent consoles not because they are going to use it for a gig. They rent it because there are people who rent it because they want to know what that particular console will be able to give them as to what other consoles give. So you could also look at that in trying to get an equipment. Then we want to look at common mistakes buyers make when selecting PA systems or consoles. Some common mistakes we make when selecting PA systems or consoles. So usually, because you have seen that engineer A is using this console, you want to say you also want the same console. Meanwhile, you haven't gotten close to him to know what he's doing on the console. It's one of the mistakes we make in making our purchases. And then we also have we sometimes forget about maintenance. You go in buying an equipment, let's say a speaker, you don't read so much about it, you don't even ask the dealers about it on support, availability of parts, and you just go ahead and purchase. And then in cases where you find maybe you go for a gig and then the equipment are mishandled because you were not there, and then there's a problem where the equipment gets damaged and you have to fall back on the dealers only to get back to them, and then they don't have the parts you want, or sometimes it takes very long for them to get the parts you want. Okay, and then we are also overlooking system compatibility. In this case, I would use matching amplifiers with speakers. So there are lots of cases in this scenario. There are people who call. They want to buy an amplifier. And then maybe the previous amplifier they were using was like 5,000 watts. When they call, all they say is that I want a 5,000 watts amplifier. Then I'll go further asking for more information. Some get confused. What the 5,000 watts at what ohms? Usually, people struggle with this when the speakers are home built. So even when you go and check behind the speaker, you will not see any information. But for very quality speakers, sometimes you may not even have to go back and go and check on the back of the speakers. You just go to the manufacturer's website and you see all that. It makes it easier for you to get an amplifier that will now work perfectly as the one before, even better than the one that got spoiled. We want to look at how to read specifications beyond marketing language. So then we are in this session, we are looking at power handling. We are looking at peak power. So in power handling, we are looking at RMS versus peak power. So for some manufacturers, they will state continuous power. They will state RMS. And then they will state peak power. Some too will state RMS and peak power. But usually, continuous and RMS will usually be around the same figure. Then you have peak power. So RMS basically means root mean square. And usually in the area of amplification for RMS, you are looking at the ability of an amplifier to produce what's needed averagely. So how continuously and effectively it's able to produce that power versus the peak. The peak is, so during moments where there are shouts, there are transcends, so usually for a hit on the snare or for the kick drum, how the amplifier is able to receive all those signals without clipping. Then from there we can look at impedance. Also still on the amplification, we can still look at scenarios where still a 5,000 watts amplifier. The manufacturer has stated that, or maybe let me go higher, this amplifier is 20,000 watts. Then already you are impressed. You are thinking of all that you can do with just that amplifier. You are not thinking whether it's a 16 ohms amplifier because you haven't asked or you haven't gone to find out. Or whether even for a 16 ohms amplifier, if you can do 16 ohms, if you can do 8 ohms, if you can do 4 ohms, if you can do 2 ohms. Because at all those impedances, there's a certain power that it will be able to provide. But you have been impressed with the 20,000 watts. And then you decide that, oh, let me go for that one. And usually also still on the amplifiers, there have been cases where, I think recently a client wanted an amplifier and he got to me because the amplifiers he bought from someone else had some features he was interested in. So he went ahead and went to buy the amplifiers, only for him to get back to his equipment and realize that the features he wanted from the amplifier actually is very possible with speakers from that brand. And so he ended up sending it back for his money. They were good to him. They refunded the money. If it was someone, we say, oh, please, we can't help you. Goods bought or money paid are not refundable. we want to look at understanding headroom and DSP capability. So headroom, can anyone help with headroom? Can anyone share their opinion on headroom? Any understanding? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. My name is Edwin.
Okay, Edwin.
I understand headroom to be the amount of gain you can get from a system before it starts to clip.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you too. So basically, it's, as you said, the amount of gain you can get from a system before clipping or before distortion. Any other opinion? Or someone to say the dynamic range between the system's nominal level and then its highest level, that dynamic range or that difference without distortion. So we are looking at DSP capability. DSP capability, we can look at that from loudspeaker management systems, and also usually for even portable PAs and some line arrays, there are some DSP capability. There are some amplifiers that already have processors in them to give you the flexibility of a DSP capability. So for this speaker like this, there's DSP feature at the back. When you go inside, you can do high cut, can do some crossover settings. Those are all DSP capabilities. Some EQing. Yeah. What's next we want to look at is the matching system components properly. So with that, we are looking at from console to processor and anything in between, and then to speakers. So there are lots of things to consider. So from a console, usually you would need balanced signal outputs. And also here, there's the possibility of headroom involvement here. Balancing your inputs and all that, doing a good gain staging. Then from there, you ensure your outputs from the console to the processors or a processor is balanced. So you don't have the left signal higher than the right signal. Then into your processor, that's where your EQing, sometimes you're limiting your crossover or distribution of frequencies to the various speakers are happening. Then from there, you're also going into an amplifier, or if it's a active system, straight to your speakers. So for amplifiers, still from amplifiers to speakers, you are looking at good cables, very good cables. And so more reading so that you don't mismatch amplifiers and speakers also, or don't end up using a 2-core cable instead of a 4-core cable. Usually is used in a bi-amp system. So for bi-amp amplification for passive speakers, the high frequencies amplification is handled separately from the low frequencies amplification. So for, let's say, a speaker where you have, so the 1, 2, your right 12, and it's actually a triamp. amplification works for it. So the high frequency. And for speakers, usually some of them, the naming of the speaker actually gives you some information of the speaker. So for example, if you see a 208, that means a twin 8-inch driver. 210, a twin 10-inch driver. 212, a twin 12-inch driver. Okay. Any question so far? Oh, okay.
So, my name is Patriarch.
Okay.
I'm an engineering student.
Okay.
So, dealing with the speakers, from where I come from, normally when they make their speakers, they don't put any crossover inside, and then a dropper, and then a capacitor for the tweeters, and then that's all. Is it safe, or is it good to do that?
What do you think?
That's why I'm here to ask.
So that means locally built.
Yes.
Have you ever tried asking them why they do that?
No, they just brought it to.
Okay, so you were not involved in the
production
or the acquiring of the item. Okay.
Actually, we had a problem. The tweeter got spot.
Okay.
And the mid also, the cords got bent, so we had to replace them.
Okay, so usually for such speakers, they are with a processor. You can handle the crossover. You can handle the crossing over with an external processor. But I mean, it's a very good thing if you already even have it in the system. There are people who actually, because of the knowledge they have, even buy passive speakers that already have crossovers, have the droppers, and still go inside there and make changes because they have the knowledge. I know one man here, he does that. Can actually buy a speaker, go inside the speaker and study what the manufacturer did in the speaker and make his own changes. Usually before they do that, they will listen to the speaker and see what is being provided, if they are okay with it. Some will be okay with it, but they will still go ahead. After all, it's his own mind that he used to buy the speaker. And then see what they can tweak. When they tweak and they see that what they have is the best for them, they leave it like that. Some to get back. But in your case, if you have the knowledge, what will you do? If you can go in there and add crossovers, add droppers, unless they won't allow you.
So it's important to add the crossover.
Yeah, usually even for the manufacturer to protect their equipment, they do that.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Any other question? Or does someone want to share their experience? Want to share your experience?
I'm Joseph Nkoma. Okay. So we had this problem at the church.
Okay.
We are using Z-Zones.
Okay.
So when they brought the speakers, there was no crossover in it. And I think from what we saw, it has its own processor.
Okay.
But through time goes on, it got spots. So we sent it for repairs, but it couldn't be repaired. So we bought another crossover processor for that.
Yeah.
But since then, we have been encountering the high getting spots mostly every month. If you change, it will spoil. So I went on the site and checked. But from what I saw, that was the first brand made. So there was
first model.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was no crossover being placed inside.
Okay.
So for the new brands, they included the crossover.
Models. New models.
The new models, they included the crossover. So I want to ask, seeing that brand, should I put my own crossover inside, or I should just leave it that way?
So you have two scenarios. You now know how it is when there's no crossover, but you have the knowledge of trying to put your own crossover. You have the knowledge, so you can try it. Then you later get back to me and let's see what happens. Any questions? Yes. Please, microphone.
Okay, thank you so much, Senior Julius. I had to work with a client, and it wasn't like you are giving him what you intend will be the best, but he had already bought the items and was expecting an engineer to come and make it work. But the problem I encountered was with the driver he had bought. He bought it outside and then gave it to a local man just to put it together in a box for him. And with the amplifier too, he bought it in Kumasi, those shops. And the paper that came with the amplifier only had power rating that is stated 9,500 watts. Honestly, whether peak or RMS, you can't tell. And so it was really a hassle to determine whether even the amplifier will be okay for the drivers. And I just did something which I don't know whether it's right.
Okay.
So I had to run a pink noise through the amplifiers and then used meters to check the voltage I'm getting at the poles.
That's some serious engineering work.
And I just did my basic integrated science thing just to get the wattage I'm getting out of, the amplifier. If I should open it to a certain level. And I was able to determine how much the amplifier can go to power those speakers. I don't know if that is right. Or perhaps there is a better way of working around some of these things if you should encounter.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what you have even said, some of us don't even know that can be done because we don't have the knowledge. There are some few months back there was an argument that what we learn in school, we don't use it. But this is a case of what he learned in school. He understood it and he's using it. So what I think is what you did was okay. Because you had the knowledge. And even with this knowledge, you can still use it to, check what other amplifiers are saying. So for an amplifier where all those specifications are given, you can run your test to see how close those ratings or specifications are to what is being communicated by the manufacturer. Someone wanted to ask a question. Okay.
Please, my name is Samuel.
Okay.
I've done a little research and I've realized that there are high-end premium speakers and there are low-budget ones.
Okay.
And I've also have an understanding that the high ones have a certain kind of price range compared to the other ones.
Yes.
Now, my question is, can you compare a speaker brand like Acoustics, Maya Sound, to a speaker brand like Waimi?
Okay.
Sometimes if I ask those questions, they will be like, oh, sound engineer and we're board in a chair. So I want to have understanding of the reason why people go in for the premium ones and
Okay, so usually the premium ones, there's some form of flexibility there that you may not get in other ones. But even for the premium brands, there are models you can compare. There are models you can compare. Are you okay, or I should explain further?
A speaker like
YME and IL acoustics.
Yeah, like is it the same?
YME, they have their flagship model.
Okay.
That's as expensive or closely expensive as L acoustics. That lots of people don't know.
Okay.
Yes, so it's the same as with even keyboards. Lots of people will say Yamaha, and then people call and they say I want this Yamaha. Then I will usually give them something that matches from the brand I sell. There have been lots of cases, people walking, they want this particular specs. I tell you, this is what we have. Let's compare. What you want, have you heard it before? If you have heard it before, fine. This is what I have. Let's do the test. And most of them end up walking away with what is available. I mean, what I have. Yes. So, you are okay now?
I'll take it like that.
You take it like that. Thank you. Please. Yeah.
So thank you. I'm Gabriel.
Okay, Gabriel.
Please, the question is, what must you see in a quality speaker? What are some of the things you must look for in a good speaker? And secondly, too, can maybe the speakers that are locally manufactured, can it be built to meet up certain standard?
Okay.
Thank you.
So, please, have you been here from the beginning? Oh, okay. We talked about build quality. So, plastic versus wood. Sometimes when you touch equipment, you know about how quality the speaker is. Apart from getting the chance to also listen to it, that also helps in determining the quality. What was your second question?
Can a locally speaker...
Okay, locally.
Like you can personally build it to a standard that is... Okay.
With the technology, with the knowledge, in the right wood. There are people here in Ghana who are building very good speakers. It's just that we don't know them. Okay, so I want to look at budget allocation, where to invest versus where to scale. So usually for sound engineers, we are looking at speakers as our priority because it can actually be the weakest link. Once your speakers go off, there's nothing you can do about it. In a very short time, once your speakers go off, so you're looking at quality ones that won't give you issues, whilst I'm also looking around for or preventing all other things that will also prevent the quality speakers from giving you what you want. So power issues and all that. So for power budget allocation, usually 25% of your budget should go for speakers. Then from there, we are looking at control. So when it comes to control, you are looking at your console, looking at your processor. That one to a certain percentage can go there. From there, we can look at some peripherals like cables, because cables can also really worry. If you get some cables that are not good, it can really worry your sound. So if there are no questions, I would want to end here. Okay. You want to share an experience or question? Okay.
My name is David.
Okay.
What percentage will go for control
You said speakers 25%.
Control, we can look at 15 to 20%.
And then you said the cables would be the rest.
Yes, cables 10 to 15%.
So then you have about, let's say, 40% not used.
It's not that it's not used. You can actually allocate that also.
Okay.
You can see me in chambers.
My last question. If you have a speaker that goes bad, that develops a fault, is it advisable to try and fix it locally? Or do you change the whole thing?
Where did you get the speakers?
So if the speakers were bought abroad, brought in, but there's no manufacturer here, should you try and find a local person to fix it, or should you give it to Agbogbo, get rid of it,
What exactly on the speaker got spoiled?
So let's say you don't know. Maybe it's just not sounding.
Okay, so you can first try and get to the professionals. There are very good guys here in Ghana who work on a number of brands to first check it out. Sometimes the best thing to do, or after they check it out, is that they want to replace a part, because some of them know how to get the parts also. Then you can make comparisons about the parts. Maybe if buying the parts, you like where I'm going here, buying the parts.
Can buy the speaker.
Then it's best that you, if you can still buy the speaker because you really like that particular speaker, you can still go for the speaker, or still go around, look for something that will match it. And in this case, something you can get support for, or you can easily get fixed without all the hassle. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Last question. Okay, my name is Robert.
Okay.
Please, my brother at the far end asked a question, and then I want to get a clear understanding.
Okay.
So, if we are talking about a good speaker, please, is it about the box or the case, or the machine in the case, the comb and the other things that forms the thing itself, or the case? Because when you were talking about the logistics,
build quality.
Yes, you spoke about the wood and then the rubber. So what of the tin in the wood or in the rubber?
Okay, so you want us to enter into that side too. So the components of the speaker also matters. So even for high frequency, if you want to look at a high frequency, there are some drivers, high frequency drivers that are made out of titanium. There are some that are made out of iron. Usually they will say ferrite, but it's iron. So with that, you can even go in there and look at the properties of both metals, and even go deeper and see why they use them to build speakers. And then even go in there, you can still go deeper, consider where you use the speakers and see the advantages of these materials at where you will use them. Maybe when you consider, after considering the material make of the drivers, you look at the advantages of ferrite over titanium, or titanium over ferrite, in a situation where you are closer to the sea. So at that level, both there's quality involved here, but you are going deeper and weighing options. There are churches that are close to the sea. We go in there, and then sometimes we all know the speakers they are supposed to go in for. But when you suggest it, they are saying, yeah, Nisika. On that note, I want to end here. Thank you.
Let's celebrate Mr. Julius. Such a great, powerful submission. Thank you so much, Mr. Julius, for this outpour of knowledge. On this note, we have all of our guests here we have the presence of Mr. Maoli, Mr. Andrew Azasu. Let's celebrate him. And then we also have Engineer Kale Pashon. Let's also celebrate him. And then Engineer Kakraba is also around. Let's also celebrate him. Okay, so we move on to, we are running a marathon, so don't be in a hurry. Okay, so there's going to be a breakout session, where we are going to have time, those of you who need water and want to get one of you things, and then, also want to talk to one of you people, you can also do that. Our next speaker, I'm coming to introduce the next speaker, and then this person is a convener for Ghana Media Tech Expo, and the founder for Encore Media. Without much ado, I want us to clap and let's welcome Mr. Andrew Azasu. Let's celebrate him as he comes.
Is this mic working? Okay, then give me this to me. Okay, good afternoon. So I am here Okay, that's technology for you. So today I'm talking about collaboration. How many of you here do video? Or you are all sound engineers? How many of you do video? Okay. How many of you know about video production? Okay, so I have a number that we can fight with the engineers today. So I'm speaking on the topic, collaboration is the new technology. Last 2 months, I was sponsoring a program, and on my way to the program to do the production, the lady called and asked that I live stream the event. And I was already at the event. So how am I going to live stream the event? Luckily, in my car, I normally carry, there's this portable device over there called YOLO Boss. So I normally carry it along wherever I'm going. Unfortunately, we were also doing a live streaming somewhere. So you can just imagine all the cables, internet, everything was there. So when she mentioned live streaming, I said, okay, let me get there and see what I can do. So I went to the event and I set up the camera. The guys, they did the setup. Now we needed internet. So I talked to the guy in the hotel and he decided to give me access. The next major issue I have is sound. Now I have two options. To go to the sound engineer to request for sound, which I know I don't have a cable, or to use the sound coming into my. Now, having been in this business for almost 15 years, I know sometimes how sound engineers look at us when you bring a cable to them. This one, I'm not holding a cable. And I'm going to ask for a cable. And the strange thing is that my device is using 3.5, so it must be converted for me to be able to get the sound. So I was looking at the sound guy, and I was standing here, confused. And I decided to walk to him. And I told him that this is the situation, and I don't have a cable, and I have to stream the event. And then he was like, oh, don't worry. Within 5 minutes, this guy went in, gave me cables. To the extent that he was having a lot of converters, converted it for me, asking me if the sound was okay. That day, I was very happy. I've been praising him the whole time. And when we finished, I went to him and I said, thank you very much, because I've never seen this before. Okay. Why is it necessary for us to collaborate, sound engineers and those who are also doing video? Why? So we know that those days, sound is treated separately, right? Because there was no live streaming, nobody will be watching online. So we treat sound separately. If you come to my church, the sound department is different from, we call it media team. Unfortunately, when the sound is bad online, they will say media team. And then we will also be shouting their names. So those days, it was purely sound. Even video wasn't that much. A lot of the churches is ICGC, Ashen Chapel, they were doing more of video. ICGC was using TriCaster and all of that. But a lot of churches were not doing it. But we could see that during the COVID time, a lot of churches started doing live streaming. That's why you see a lot of switches coming into the system, right? Now there is a need to stream. Now, the experience you want to give it to your audience is not just going to be video or visuals. Everything must come together. It must be audio and video. Unified. The same ecosystem. Combined. So that's why most of the times when you are streaming, and your sound have an issue, you see people commenting, sound, and you see them dropping. A lot of us, especially sound engineers, we are not interested in whatever sound is going on the stream. Okay? There are churches who have the finances to be able to do the in-house sound, and then they also do the broadcast sound. People who have it. But sometimes those of us doing more of the production, we don't know anything about sound. So whatever you give us is what we're going to use. I've been fighting with my church. Now I see the sound guys, they will come and check, oh, is the sound okay online? And then they will start, they themselves will be watching the stream to check if it's okay. But I know majority of us don't do that. So my duty is to you and to let you know that we now have one experience with audience. So your audience watching online will have to experience the two together. They are now embedded. And even with sound, if I am watching a video and it's not syncing, I don't like to watch. Okay? So those who know that the lip is not syncing with whatever is coming, they will start complaining. When we started streaming, some people were saying that low. At the same time, when I opened it on my phone, it was okay. So you have that complaint, and you see a lot of people dropping once the sound goes off. So we can say that audio is forming how many percent? More than 50% of the video. Because I can forgive a bad visual. Okay, if the video is not that good, I can forgive. I can just put a picture there, put a sound on it, and people will stay on and watch. But if your audio is bad, you have a problem. People will drop, people will disengage with your content. Even with the content you do. That's why you see a lot of people, they want to buy the podcast microphones. They want the quality one because they want the sound to be good. Okay. Now, what are some of the platforms we have? So we have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which, I mean, a lot of us are on TikTok now. You know, those days I heard people say that the TikTok is for the devil. But actually, TikTok push your content for you. Now, this platform, one thing is that they don't consume audio separately from video. We agree, right? They don't. When you are watching, the two of them will come together. So there's the need for those who are doing sound, those who are sound engineers, to be interested in the sound they are giving us. It is no more the sound you are getting in your auditorium. No, those days, if I'm a sound engineer and my sound in the auditorium is okay, I don't care about a video guy. But these days, one thing you're going to hear is that when it is a proper production, people will tell you that the production was very bad. Just because the sound, you say, just because the sound was very bad. So it's very important to combine the two. And our sound engineers, you also must know how our visuals work. So in terms of lip syncing, latency. You must check if there is a delay. You must pay attention to even, you know how we do sound design when you are doing video editing. There are, within your church service, there are times the way the sound will even make it sound nicer online. So if you're a sound engineer, you should be able to know that, oh, this time of the service or during the production, this is the kind of sound, or this is how you wanted people to hear the sound. So that is very important. Now, our audience are the one going to judge, right? As I said already, the audience are the one going to judge. And now, a lot of our audience are online. They are online, and they will be watching and they will be listening. The sound that is coming out, what they are hearing, is what will live with them. So most of the time when I'm doing production, like programs, surprisingly, you see sound engineers who are not recording sound. I've seen a lot. They are not recording sound. They are okay with the sound that is coming to us. You do track recording, right? Yes. The last time I did a program in November, and I told the sound guy to do the sound, record the whole sound, and then they can master it for me. Because if the sound is not good and it's going online, we have to pull all those. So mostly you see people do this program, they pull the video down, then they will re-edit the video, the quality video, and then put the correct sound on it. Okay? For 3 months now, I've been chasing that sound up to now. Okay? And at a point, I have to give up and decided to use the one that was coming to me, and I recorded. Even though I will do a lot of recording, like I will record the audio separately, record with the video, I still feel like if they work on the sound, if they use the track, they work on it, I'll be able to get correct sound and put on my video. So sound is a very important aspect of our video production. We need them. It's the same way they also will need us, because the final output is going to go somewhere. Just imagine if you're a sound guy, you've done a production, and they posted a video and the sound is bad and they are talking about it. How will you be able to explain yourself? I hope you are getting me. And I know a lot of us start pushing blame. Okay? And those days I was doing it. When they call me for a program, I'll tell them, go and pick your own sound person. And I'll be sitting there. When the thing is going wrong, I'll tell them it's the sound guy. Okay? He's the sound guy. And he will also say, oh, whatever he's giving me is correct. So it's me. What I want to say is that when we are doing production, it's very important that we all come together and collaborate. It's very important. Sound engineers, they must think like those who are in charge of the video. Those who are in charge of the video must also think like the sound engineer. Collaboration, communication. You are going to do a program. Most of the times, I prefer to go and do a pre-meeting with sound engineers to know, maybe they have cables they want to give me. I want to know the distance where we are all sitting. And we like sitting near them. The reason is that most of the times our cables are not long. Yes, all the time. Yes, our cables are not long. Very short cable. So if we go a long distance, then we will suffer. Last 2 weeks, I was doing a production for the Chinese embassy. And surprisingly, for them, they don't care about the sound you record. So if you give them a phone recording, they are okay. Now, the sound guy is sitting behind the stage. The console, everything is behind the stage. Now, the production I'm doing is, they have a lot of screen. Tomorrow too, we have a similar production. It's about 10 screens. We are going to feed it with the video. Now, where they ask me to be, I have to be watching the screens. and I went to the back. The issue is I don't have a long cable. And that is the only place I can be at that time. I can't be at the back because if I'm at the back, I cannot, in terms of wireless transmission, it will be difficult for me. So I was there. The only thing that saved me is that I know that these people, they don't really care about the sound. And I was knowing myself. I was trying my best to get the sound. Luckily for me, the president, when they go, president, vice president, they have their own sound guys who come in. Then I realized that something happened. They have a band. Then they have the president's sound. And then they also have their sound. And I've been seeing this a lot. Now, as the video, I'm now torn between whose sound I'm going to pick. Because live band is playing. The MCs are using their main sound. Now, when the president is speak, he will use his own microphone. But the difficult thing is that they were not able to. I was thinking, once they know these are all going to happen, they should have a central point where all these sounds connect to, so that they give me sound. So, I just saw a speaker. I think this speaker is closer to me, so I can tap the sound from there. So I tapped the sound from the speaker when they started. After 15 minutes, when the vice president finished speaking, then my sound went off. Apparently, they switched their things, parking. And I walked to them, oh, you should have told me. So, no, then they are here for the vice president too. And then they are gone. So, you see, if we were to do a pre-meeting and know that there will be 3 different sounds, then we will all agree that, oh, let's bring it to one person. Then where I think that me, the video guy, because I can't be spending on video and be spending on sound, that I think my cable is very short, then I will be closer to the last person who is probably having all the. But it wasn't the case. I am somewhere, pick a sound. When they finish their own, they left. You see? So pre-production meetings are very important. So that sound, even light, is supposed to be part. You agree on it. Now, I want to encourage you as a sound engineer that you must have different mindsets when it comes to sound engineering, when you are doing it. Please, take us along. Put us in it. Okay? Because once it goes wrong, it is going to affect you. They won't say that. People will say sound is bad, but, if the general perception about the program is going to be like the production is very bad, and you are also part of the production. Now, the psychological, the eye confirm attention. So if I see something, it draws attention. But audio is going to build trust. Okay? If I can watch a video, I can hear people talk, then I can believe and trust that this is actually original, right? So I may be watching all right, but it's very important that sound is good, is part of it. Our sound engineers to think like us, make provision for us, make sure our production is seamless. There are times I go to program and it's difficult to even walk close to a sound guy. And the way some of us will frown our face. Then when they turn to and they see, I'm busy when I'm done. Okay. Now they will be asking you, do you want stereo or mono? Now you're also confused. Today I'm hearing something like, should I give you matrix? What is matrix? I heard matrix today. Should I give you matrix? What is matrix? I hope you are getting it. So you know these things. You know how to get the best sound. If you give me a cable right now, if I am going to buy a cable, I will just go and buy one SRR cable. Get some converters. But you guys are the ones who will be able to explain to me that this is stereo, this is mono. What is the advantage of giving me stereo and the advantage of a mono? I hope you are getting it. Because I don't know. So you have to explain it to me. So it's very important. Now, integrated production is the professional standard everywhere in the world. Have you been watching these programs, these foreign programs, that sometimes you see somebody in the audience talking is so loud and clear? Sometimes I wonder, I've been thinking, is it that they know that that person is going to talk already? And when you hear how clear the sound is and going with the video, is it not nice? It's nice. So when you go outside, especially there's this church I was observing, I realized that they do a lot of pre-meetings before Sunday. And then the sound engineer spend the time to do the configuration well, depending on the person who will be singing for that Sunday. And then the video guys are also there. They let me say, they rehearse the production as if they are doing a music program. When you go to YouTube, there's this West Side production. Go and search for West Side production. When you see the way the drum starts and the way the camera zoom in, before you know, the director picks the guitar that's coming in. Everything moves smoothly. When you go and watch their videos, every video they go and watch it. They have a like when they are doing production, they record all the. My time is okay. So they are able to follow the service, the visuals, going with the sound. When they hit the drum, they know how they are going to miss it. Okay. So collaboration is the new technology. We have professional cameras. We have professional switches. The switcher over there is very, if you ask the price, I think it will be around 50,000. A lot of churches are spending on it. And we also spend on sound. And luckily, a lot of churches even spend on sound before video, right? My church, we bought a whole lot, even bought things on credit for sound. And when it was video time, we were struggling. Some of us have to put money together to buy it. So a lot of churches spend on sound. Okay, so you are there. Once video is part of it, and they've spent money to buy this expensive thing, let's all come together in a unified ecosystem to make our production very good. Thank you. This one, is there going to be a question? The question should be within what I've talked about. So don't bring.
Okay, so we are allowing because of time factor 3 questions here.
Thank you, boss. Yeah. I don't want to mention my name.
Okay.
But I want to ask you one question. You talk plenty. Shifting blames on sound engineers. I want to shift the blame on you.
Okay. It's allowed.
Why is it that when you are going somewhere, you won't prepare a cable? That's number one. 2, get a small mixer. Like the example you gave.
Yeah.
Get a small mixer. You go somewhere, there are a lot of mixes. Pick everybody mix into your mix. It will solve your problem. You understand? Get a young guy. Train him to monitor your sound for you. Because a lot of time you don't monitor your sound. You see a lot of videos, church videos. It will be blasting. If someone is monitoring the sound, we won't have this problem. Thank you very much.
So I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that we should collaborate. That's the title of my message. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not blaming the sound engineers. I'm just saying that it's good we collaborate. For example, every production I go to, I have a switch. I have a mixer.
Secondly, you guys don't come early. Why?
Okay, so I think he made a very important point for us not going early. For my production, I always go early. Tomorrow I have a production that's going to start 6. I'll be there like 11. Okay, and I'm always mixer. I have a roadcaster. The switches I buy, I make sure they have SNR. I don't have. Once I put it in, my sound is correct. Yes, I have all these things.
Then monitor your sound.
Yes, we monitor.
If it's blasting, tell the
but
sound engineer
it's
that
true that a lot of us
it's
churches,
blasting.
we don't actually monitor our live stream. Yeah, we don't have a room where somebody is stationed. For example, if you go to my church, there is a room at the back that is having people watching the live stream. So once the sound goes off, they will be able to watch. But let's try and collaborate. Okay.
Thank you, sir. I'm Meshach. And this live streaming thing is becoming, I don't know, it is becoming demonic in my church because I have a ghost in my church. And I learned your software, all right, has an inbuilt volume, and others also have EQ on it. So you can view from your end that it is like unity. All right, the sound is very good and clear. But that ghost, the recording volume, 100%. Online streaming volume, 100%. Do you expect God? No, it's, and you know, at the end of the day, they will blame you, the sound engineer. All right, that you don't even know your job. All right, and you treat every line separately. You give them stereo line, you pan it to the left and the second to the right before you go. Both stereo line, middle. And like Daddy said, they don't come in.
So the best thing you can do for us is to check on the sound for us.
No, you see, so for me.
No, so
Doc,
for example, I do my setup.
So
you've given me a cable. Somebody, the sound engineer just checked that the sound is okay.
All right, so Doc, see you in my church.
Yes.
I'm alone.
Yeah.
I control sound and at the same time lightning. All right. So you try as much as possible. I have my pad. I make the sound stable and I work on the lightning because of our praise and worship team. All right.
So I want you to be concerned about what is going out.
That is what I'm talking about. That they boost the volume on their device.
Okay, no. Yes, so probably people are doing it. But OBS, okay, you're able to increase it.
So I think while we are having this back and forth,
yes.
He said something about, let's tackle the coming late or no coming late. He said something when he started. He said there is what we call production meeting. So which means everybody knows the time that they want to do their setup. So from production meeting, you have an idea of whatever you want to do. And production meeting don't happen a day before. It happens weeks. That's why we said we have these great men to come and share their idea. And about the live streaming or whatever, it's because we are not doing the right thing. That's why we are looking at the media guys. They are not our problem. Now, if I ask now, you will realize that we only have one console, which we are trying to make one console do the job of 3 consoles. And that's where this problem is coming from. You know, like I said, we don't want to drop everything just now.
And we are talking about especially churches.
See,
who doesn't have the budget?
We have to know things the right way so that by the time we are going to the industry, we are talking about the right thing. That's why the back and forth is coming up. But this solution, we have them here to help us solve it so that they'll give us industry standard that can help us make sure that we have good live streaming production. So that just relax while we get on the journey of this training. Like I said, solution is available. But what he's saying is that we have to collaborate.
Collaboration.
Because if we go by churches having one console and want to do the whole thing themselves, that means the sound engineer should also monitor what is going on before it gets to their own side. Because most of the time, they don't have any business with sound cards. So, you know, if you are using sound cards, you'll be able to adjust your volumes and all that. But so that we don't give the solution, we don't think that, oh, this is the solutions. Let these great men in the industry, let them help us to solve this matter of the audio problem for live streaming. So if we have any other questions for him.
Yeah, thank you once again. So there was this, there is this special, very, very weird scenario at my church. So the man in charge of visuals and audio, he's a relatively, I'll call them old heads. Now the old heads, because they see us young people as, they have a certain way they see young engineers. Now, we had a concert, and then we wanted to stream, and I personally wanted to make sure that it sounds very, very good because I was going to multi-track as well. So at least online is good. I multi-track, I mix, we put it together, boom, later on. Now I go to this man. I mean, we don't have a switcher. We just run video cards into it, and so normally we just take one. Even with that, we've set up a stereo matrix, but he says he wants only one cable because the two cables cannot work on his camera, even though there are two lines in there, and I can set stereo and work on all of those things. Since you're more experienced in this particular field, another time too, I brought a sound card. He told me he doesn't have USB slots for the sound card. So, yeah, he'll do what he knows because when he puts sound card, there will be delay. And I was like, I can set the delays for you. It's like, no. You know, I've been doing this longer than you were born. I was like, yeah, yes, sir. So, so in this particular case, with your experience, what's the best way to approach this whole thing? Because they've done a matrix, which is a bit fixed. We use a VI 2000 Soundcraft, and you can't necessarily go inside and just do the thing. So I suggested to my boss we create an aux channel, then I can monitor it. He's also fed up with them, so he said, we can't take time to always check their online sound. Whatever they like, they should. So how would you...
So it's a church, right?
Yeah, a big church, unfortunately.
Yeah, so you have leadership. You have leadership to probably come in at a point. Or else you just have to deal with it. And we have some people in the system so long that even the leadership is scared of them. Yes, I have an example like that. There is somebody where I am. If there is something new you are bringing, once he say no, that is it. Even if you tell the leadership, they are even scared. So sometimes you have to pray that God should, God should come in. Okay. If there's any other answer from somebody. Okay, thank you very much. I normally also talk about video production, live streaming. So every Sunday I'm live. You can check it, and then you can also learn how to do your video. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Andrews, please the platform and the name on Facebook or YouTube. All of them, okay. So on all social media platforms, Andrews Azansu. Andrews Azansu. Please let's kindly clap and let's celebrate him, for such a great, great, powerful submission. Okay, so now we want to take a break, and this break is going to take like almost about 10 minutes. Then we'll come back, and then we'll continue with the session. We have great minds here with us, so don't be in a hurry to go. We are all here to learn, and by the time we are leaving here, any confusion in your mind is going to be cleared. So let's interact with one another. If you are meeting somebody for the first time, let's try and interact, with one another. Try and get to know somebody's name. So it's break time. By 10 minutes later, we are coming back. So we can go, and then we'll be right back. So try get some water, some drink, just to cool yourself down. Yeah.
What's coming in? It's coming in now. You just went on a break. Oh.
So what are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing?
No, volcano back. Bishop, oh my God. How many minutes are coming? I don't know. 30 minutes.
I used to be so broken, lost, empty. A heart with no beat, a singer with no song to sing. So I know the feeling, the silence is deafening. But in your pain lies a blessing, in a sweet and sour victory. So keep walking, 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 though it seems so far. No matter who you are, see there's one thing that I know. Life it can leave you so bitter, 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 bitter. But you must believe that it gets better, 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 better. It's alright, dry your eyes, send a prayer to the sky. I know it's hard to find, but you must believe that it gets better. Listen to me. I know you're scared, your heart's bleeding. But what are you gonna do now? I think it's time you break free and keep walking, 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 though it seems so far. No, it doesn't really matter who you are. See, there's one thing that I know. Life, it can leave you so bitter, 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 bitter. But you must believe that it gets better, 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 better. It's alright, dry your eyes, send a prayer to the sky. I know it's hard to find, but you must believe that it gets better, better. Oh yeah, almost out of here. See, I was almost done. I wanted to die from how I was done wrong. I cried out every night looking for a helping hand. That's when it happened. Jesus took me and he held me close, gave me love, refilled my heart, helped me grow better because his love, it made me whole. He's available anytime. Try him out, he'll change your life. See, I know that, yeah. Life, it can leave you so bitter, 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 bitter. But you must believe that it gets better.
of the SoundCheck Experience, and we are about to enter into the third phase. I'm about to introduce the third speaker, for SoundCheck Experience 2026, and this person is an expert in sound installation, sound reinforcement. He is also a live engineer and also an expert in online sound production. And then he's also a recording engineer. And then he has mixed and mastered, a whole lot of projects in this nation. And then he was the main sound engineer for Potter's Praise, I think when they started up to somewhere around last 2 years ago. And without much ado, let's clap and let's welcome Engineer Thomas Chikata as he handles signal flow. Let's welcome him as he comes here.
Thank you, Dr. Crack. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you. I learned Evangelist has introduced me already, so I'm happy to see all of you here. The reason why I'm so much happy is all of us are young and we are aspiring to become sound engineers, and to make sure that we do a proper sound for our local churches and assemblies, and to get it the right way. So all of us sitting here, we know some, and we are just coming to add up to what you already know, and also tell you the right way of doing it, the practical ways, and some of the reasons why some of these things shouldn't be done the right way, especially like the right way. So basically, I will just be talking about signal flow. Signal flow. That's all. If you understand what a signal flow is, I think you are already at a go on what to do when it comes to sound. Because if your signal flow is not good, I'm not sure that you've been able to get a good sound. So I'm going to make a statement, and it's a very, very, very important statement. It's my open statement, and it says that most bad mixes are not mixing problem. They are input problem. Write it down. Most bad mixes are not missing problem. They are input problem. So this statement explains a lot when it comes to signal flow, because before you've been able to get your signal flow well, like what my big box is doing, trying to send a signal flow from his computer through this powerful board to the other console over there. Basically, what he's doing is signal flow. And if he doesn't get it right from this to that, you will not hear anything from the PA. So that is why it says that most bad mixes are not the mixing problem, they are all input problem. So as a sound engineer, one of the things you should look at is your input source. They are very, 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 very important. Your input source. Your input source. You want to do things the right way, the standard way. I know some of you, this is the first time you are seeing a console like this. Most of you, your churches is that a mixer with amplifier together. 2 EQ. That's what most of you have. an elder will go to Zongo Lane and go and buy because he doesn't want to buy an extra. Yes. But when he goes to other churches and their sound is powerful and he comes to his assembly and is wondering, why are we not getting the same thing? But you are using I don't know. Also, what's the name of that mixer, Seth? I don't even know. But yes, powered mixer.